My name is Deborah Cleland and I'm the CEO of Deaf Kids International. I started at Deaf Kids International in January 2023. Deaf Kids International works to safeguard deaf children in low resource settings. We know that the children in low resource settings are exceptionally vulnerable to abuse, and we also know that deaf children are 3 to 4 times more likely to experience abuse than hearing children. Firstly, we know all children in a country like South Africa and other African countries, the context that they live in is already wrought with poverty. It's already a situation where fathers are largely not present. It's already a society where households don't have a lot of income. And we know that all children in these settings are very, very vulnerable. Education and health systems are not great at all. And then deaf children within that context. We run programs to empower deaf children to stay safer from abuse, and we work with their parents, and we work with teachers at their schools, and we work in their schools, and we work in their communities, and we work with their governments. And all of that work is aimed towards creating a protective structure around deaf children, and very importantly to building a sense of power and a sense of worth in deaf children, and giving them the skills to know what to do if they experience abuse. We've recently registered ourselves in South Africa, but where I would like us to be in a year's time is having bedded down all of the organizational aspects of that registration. We feel that investing tenfold in one child is way better than investing in one thing for 10 children. So we need to go deep with what we do for a child. And I think that's because the reasons why all children in the settings that we work in are vulnerable, they are so complicated. And that means that the solutions to make them less vulnerable, to protect them, are also super complicated. So there is no quick fix. We need to invest heavily, and that means we need to do more for fewer children. And it's hard to say that because we want to get to every single child, of course. As the CEO of the organization, I think having a deaf child gives me a huge amount of lived experience. I have experienced barrier upon barrier, and I've been able to see, even if I haven't experienced, potential barriers and real barriers that have come up for my own daughter. And therefore, I'm intricately aware of the barriers that other parents face and that their children face. But what I'm most aware of is the fact that I have been lucky enough to have the resources to be able to remove those barriers, but most parents can't. So not only are they aware of the barriers, but they are, in most cases, powerless to remove them. And every one of those barriers makes that deaf child more and more vulnerable. I think it gives me a real empathy, and I think it gives me a really, really good understanding of where the vulnerabilities are because of those barriers that I have experienced myself in my life. It gives me really good insight into the programs we run and into the programs we should run, and to what impact really does mean. We're never going to check a box just for a funder or just to get some money. We are really authentic in the change and the difference we want to make. So I think that experience for me really brings that authenticity. It gives me a deep passion for what I do.